everybody, Jennifer from A Close Heart Experience. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're old to the channel, thank you. I appreciate you all so very much. Oh, today's video. I've been dragging my feet on this one. Partially because I didn't know. It's hard to put into words. It's kind of an emotional subject. I'll probably make some comments people won't like. May hurt friends, may hurt family members. I mean, there's a whole host of things that can go wrong in this video, but I had a longtime friend come to the office yesterday, and she was talking about some of the same things. Wow, we got issues again. Anyhow, so here we go. Let's talk about doing things alone. Alone. I don't know where to begin. Other than, I have always pretty much been a loner. I am happy with quiet time. It's partially why I like gardening so much. Even as a kid, my parents would allow me to go up the mountain behind our house and below our house. But I would build forts and play High Mountain Rangers. I don't know if anybody remembers that Robert Conrad TV show. It was a long time ago. I just thought they were the greatest, saving lives out in the wilderness. Anyhow, I would build forts, and I spent a lot of time alone. In fact, when my mom would make me take my sister, it would make me so mad. I would just be out in the woods. I just like to be on my own. And I'm still that way. Even when I'm working, if a lot of people... I'm not that big of a talker. You would think having a YouTube channel that I would be a little bit more personable, but that's a learned behavior. If I don't have to talk, I'm happy. It's a sad truth. I know it doesn't really make sense. And I hope this video doesn't go on too long because there's so much to say about this. Oh, so in 2014, my husband and I were having problems, and it was basically like a roommate situation. We were cohabitating. There was no marriage. And we had talked about getting a divorce, and I had a friend. No, not that kind of a friend. Well, I didn't think it was that kind of a friend. It ended up differently, but I actually get along better with guys than I do girls because I'm not, as we can tell with the hairdo and the makeup and I'm not the type to get all gussied up and go on the town. Like I said, I'd rather be in the woods alone. I don't do the makeup thing. My niece keeps trying to, she says, get the woods out of me, but that's a hard thing to do. And I don't like the competition. Yeah, with the women. There's a lot of competition and backstabbing, dare I say. Most female relationships I've had have not ended well. We're just going to say it that way. And guys don't really care. So, yeah. Anyhow, he was an old friend from, I'd known him since kindergarten, I think. And thanks to the invention of Facebook, he found me on Facebook and asked me how I was doing, and we started talking. And this was in 14. And we had kind of talked about that my husband and I was headed for a divorce and stuff, and he actually listened. He was very good, gave me a few pointers. We would talk till all hours of the night, and Never anything lovey-dovey, never anything like that. It was just, hey, how you doing? Tell me about his day. I would tell him about mine. And we listened to each other. It was a nice relationship. And then towards the end, I think this went on for maybe a year and a half, somewhere in there. And he used to joke with me. He'd call me up and say, when are you going to marry me? You've got to marry me. And I'd be like, fat chance, buddy, not doing it, not doing it. And he'd be like, nope, you better hurry. And I always thought it was a joke. I always thought it was a joke. It wasn't a joke. It was shortly after that he passed away. And I really regret not like getting a divorce and running off with him, but not taking that joke more seriously. I never knew. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is because, to be completely and totally honest with you, I think he's the only person in my life ever. Well, there's one more. My BFF, still to this day. But I do believe he was the only one that ever listened to me. And I've stated in other videos that I hate the word strong. And there's a reason for that. Because every relationship I have had in my life, people have told me, wow, Jennifer, you're strong. I wish I had your strength, Jennifer. I wish I could do what you do, Jennifer. And it always turns into, you know, you meet a friend, you meet a coworker or something, and you think, oh, this is a good human, you know, and one thing leads to another. The more you get to know people, the more you chit-chat, you know, that kind of a thing. It has always ended up where I turn into the mom, or as we like to say, I'm Aunt Jen to everybody. Everybody calls me Aunt Jen. And I am the source of, I guess people confide in me a lot. People talk to me a lot. I'm one of those steel traps. If you tell me something, it's not going any further than you and I. And if I can, if I might have something that'll help you, I will offer that little tidbit of information. If I have nothing that's going to help, I am just going to listen. And it always becomes a one-sided relationship. One-sided relationship. So what that has led to, and I would pretty much say since 2014, is I listen to a lot of people. Not a lot listen to me. And it's gotten to the point, and I think that's why I don't deal with emotions well, my own emotions. Actually, I don't deal with other people's emotions well either. It's just the crying. I just have a problem with crying. But I keep it to myself. I don't open up. I don't tell anybody. I think the main people on this planet that know the most about me are my parents. And even then, because they have so much going on in their life, I don't open up to them and tell them everything either, because I don't want them worrying. I don't want them thinking I'm stressed. I don't want them thinking that anything's really wrong. You know, I've got it. I can handle it. And that's what people think. Jennifer can handle it. So, fast forward over the years, and I know I can count on one or two fingers how many people have been there for me over the years. And in fact, somebody that I thought was really close to me, and I probably said this in another video, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but some of this stuff just goes together and runs together, and yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyhow, I don't I don't really cry. I don't get emotional. And I had just been done. Kind of like this week. This was a rough week. I'm so tired. And I pulled up to the office and I was just bawling my eyes out. I was just so tired. There was like no, I couldn't control what I was thinking, I had been running back and forth to the hospital, to home, to blah, blah, blah. The stress level was high, very high. Anyhow, I kind of shocked one person, and because I'd never shown that side of myself to her before, and the first words out of her mouth were, it's not all about you. I have no ill feelings against her, but it really, I don't know how to word this. It really made me realize how selfish people are. And I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about everybody. It's never about me. Never, ever, ever, ever about me. And it was like the first 20 years of my life all just came kind of rushing back, and I was thinking, wow, I've listened to hundreds of thousands of people and not one has turned around and listened to me. Well, one didn't. He passed away. And I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I just thought, what's wrong with me? You know? But in the other course of things, it also made me climb up more. It made me just, nope, nobody needs to know my BS. Nobody needs to know. Nobody gives a crap. And that's how we got to, I want to say 2022. And I'll come back and hit 2022 in a second. But the other thing, my parents raised me to be pretty self-sufficient. My dad would not let me drive a car until I learned to change tires, oil. I even helped him rebuild engines, carburetors, stuff like that on the kitchen table. Yeah, we probably shouldn't talk about that, but we did. And he just made sure that I knew how to do things. In fact, shortly after my husband and I moved to Anchorage, it was shortly after we got together, it was a Thanksgiving and I was making Thanksgiving dinner. And I just peeled all the potatoes and had to use the restroom. And I'd left the potato peelings in the sink, and I told John, don't put those potato peelings down, you'll plug the drain. And as I was running to the bathroom, well, he didn't really care or really listen to me. And he put them all down the garbage disposal. And sure enough, it plugged, and he was so mad. So mad. He was screaming. We had people coming over. Where are we going to get a plumber on Thanksgiving? How are we going to do this? How are we going to afford this? This is going to cost, a lot of money. And I said, just get a bucket. Just get me a bucket. And he kind of looked at me funny, like, what? I said, just find me a bucket somewhere. And we were living in like a townhouse, condo, apartment type thing. And he went and got me a bucket, and I started tearing the sink apart down below. Oh, that U-curve under the sink was just crammed full of potato peelings. I got that all cleaned out and put it all back together, and it drained just fine. He was so impressed. So impressed. He grew up in San Francisco, and, something breaks, you call somebody. You grow up in rural Montana, something breaks, you better know how to fix it yourself. He told everybody, my wife can plumb. She knows how to plumb. No, I don't know how to plumb. I can just fix certain things. But what that turned into, even with my husband, is, oh, Jennifer can handle it. Jennifer can handle it. Jennifer knows how. Jennifer can do anything. I can't do anything. I can't do everything. But 99% of the time it ends up being my responsibility. And with responsibility, I was just talking about this with my niece the other night. I don't understand anxiety. And don't get me wrong, I don't want any negative comments down there. I know that some people cannot control their anxiety. You don't need to be an asshat and tell me. I get that. But I think the vast majority of people choose or say that they're anxious. I think 99% of anxiety is a choice. I think we've made it okay to cop out. I think we've made it okay to curl up in a fetal position and cry. And I don't have that button. I can't. I can't walk away. If somebody is in need, I can't walk away. I will run towards the problem instead of running away. And I know a lot of people that run away. And I'm not patting myself on the back either. I am trying to understand why I don't have that switch where I can just say, not my monkey, not my problem, you know, not my circus. And there are some days where I wish I could just say, nope, I don't give a shit, I'm gonna go take a nap. I can't do that. I have never been able to do that. And it's the same with you know, ailing family members. The older they get, the more I want to be there, the more I want to help, the more I want to take care. I don't care if they're aunts, uncles, cousins, I don't care what they are. It bothers me that other people can just walk away. I have a huge, or they do this thing where they offer and say, but they don't really mean it. You know, they, oh, well, I offered, so I did my part, kind of a thing. I can't do that. If I offer, I'm going to be there. I'm going to cough. I have to pause. Sorry. My apologies. It is way better. It's just an irritating thing now. Anyhow, so what does all this have to do with yesterday? Or from 2019 forward? Let me back up just a skosh. I would like to say from about 2000 to 2019, I have given what I can to the people around me, to the people I love. There has not been, we've had people live with us. We have taken care of other people's children. You know, babysitting, staying with us, blah, 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 taking food to people, trying to help people out. And 2019 knocked me on my butt when my husband had the stroke, which we've talked about 10,000 times already. Anyhow, I didn't feel I had anywhere to go. The first people I called, when he had the stroke, I may have called my niece first and had them call my parents. But the day he had, which was like 7 days later, the day he had the seizure and ended up in ICU, I called my parents that day and I could not talk. I was kind of hyperventilating. It's not a good... good is not a very good word. It's a very uncomfortable feeling to walk into your house and find your husband unresponsive. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, as in 2023, to wake up and think your husband has passed away next to you. Anyhow, the whole point of telling you this is the combination of those, probably my youth and from 2000 forward, has caused me to climb up. There are very few people that know the inner workings of Jennifer. Very few people. There are very few people that know my true thoughts on things. I don't openly talk politics with everybody because everybody's so damn sensitive and is unwilling to have a conversation. They've always got to be right. Everybody is unwilling to learn other things, and everybody is selfish. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. In my entire life, there has probably been 2 or 3 people that I could honestly sit down and have a one-on-one conversation, and I felt like I was heard. Fast forward to 2022, and as I've stated in other videos, since the stroke, I have to be careful what I bring up to my husband. He gets highly agitated. It'll bother him. He'll fixate on it. And so if something goes wrong at the office or, at the grocery store, I don't know. I pick and choose what I say to him. I don't tell him any problems anymore. So for a long time there, I talked to nobody. I may have mentioned to my niece, this was rough, that was rough, we're in the hospital. I funneled a lot through her, had her post on Facebook or whatnot for me because the people that were calling and checking on him, and I appreciate it greatly, but it got to be too much after a while. And I'm on repeat as it is, so every phone call you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. So my truest and closest BFF, the only one who knows the inner workings of me, is God. I have had more conversations and more arguments with God. Yes, I said arguments. I joke with my mom about it all the time because she always says, God only gives you as much as you can handle. And then she adds in, I just wish he didn't trust me so much. That last part is why I have arguments with God. And she always tells me, Jennifer, be careful. Be careful who you're arguing with. And I said, actually, he has to expect it from me. Because if he made me the way I am, he knows it's coming. It's just a joke, guys. It's just a joke. I mean, no disrespect. But fast forward to 2022, I was in a pretty dark place. I did not want to really talk to anybody. I was working. That was pretty much all I was doing. I was getting up, going to work, going home. Getting up, going to work, going home. Those 21, from 20 to 22, those were the years I think I took 2 days off a year. And I didn't talk to hardly anybody outside of my reach, unless they were family. And it's because of being shut down. Yeah, it was, nobody wanted to listen, nobody wanted to hear. And you take that to heart after a while. It was like November of 2022, and I was just tired. I was so exhausted. Nobody understands, and I haven't understood until really 2024, how many women are trying to do everything on their own because they have an ailing husband or boyfriend or whatnot. There are a lot of people out there in my same boat. And that is the main thing that has given me comfort. That is the main thing that, because when you are down in the trenches and running from the hospital back to the house to let the dog out, back to the office, trying to keep the clients happy, trying to make sure your husband's comfortable, checking on family members, making sure they're okay, and if you're like me, picking up 1,000 other burdens in the meantime and trying to put each fire out as you go, it's the exhaustion cannot be, you can't tell other people how exhausted you are. And anyhow, this friend came in yesterday and she was telling me a very similar story. Her and I have had the same story for probably the last 5 years. But we only really get to talk about it like maybe once a year because we're both so dang busy. And I've known her for about 20 years, I think. Anyhow, we were laughing so hard because it's nice to hear people have the same issues, the same problems. And I was telling her about last September, and I had called my husband, and he was telling me he wasn't feeling good. And so I called the nurse to check on him, and she's like, "Oh, I already left." And I was like, "What? You left and he wasn't feeling good? Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you say something?" And I asked her to head back until I could get back to the house, and I showed up. And he was kind of shaking, and I kind of looked. Well, he kept telling me he wasn't feeling good. That's what it was. He kept telling me he wasn't feeling good, and I was like, whatever. When do you feel good? I had just been up to here with him not feeling good. And you hear it over and over and over and over again. It's like the boy who cried wolf. You start to not believe it. And he kept telling me, I was like, whatever, John, when do you feel good? When do you feel, and it's not insensitive. I had just had my fill of it. And then I looked over at him and he's shivering. I'm like, oh shit. He's being truthful this time. And I loaded him up, took him to the hospital, and he was sepsis. He had an infected gallbladder, and yeah, it turned into a whole thing. But I was telling her this story, and she did the same thing. Her husband wasn't feeling good. She was like, yeah, whatever. I don't... And we just laughed and laughed and laughed about that because, man, we're assholes kind of a thing. But you don't know until you've heard it 1,000 times, But it felt so good to laugh and talk to somebody about how tough things are. And she's telling me she's watching her grandkids. She's trying to work because she's the sole income earner as well. And trying to take care of her husband at the same time. There are days, and I told her, I said, I know. I said, I think the reason why I lost my emotions is because I'm always, what's next? What's next? What's next? Okay, we got that done. Let's move on to the next. Okay, we finished this. We're heading up to the next, There's always, that's why I constantly have a to-do list in my head. And my niece made a comment to me that these videos helped at least one person that I know of. And they asked if I was stressed all the time. I would like to say no, I'm not. But I don't think I have time to feel that way. I don't... and like we were talking yesterday... I feel like I'm all over the place, guys. I'm sorry. Like we were talking yesterday, there are mornings when I open my eyes and it's 4 or 5, and I'm like, oh, dear God. Can I just stay in bed today? Just one easy day. Like this last week. I was joking in a couple of the other videos that somebody opened the gates of hell, but you have no idea. I got stuck on a phone conversation for 8 hours on Thursday. Friday, I felt like somebody hit me with a Mack truck. And I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could get up and keep going. People don't realize that. And I've said this also in other videos. Because we're always moving on to the next problem, the next issue, fixing this, fixing that. People don't realize how exhausted we truly are because we just keep going. We just keep going. And to find that one person, and I am talking platonic, I don't think I'll ever have another romantic, I know never say never, but relationship in my life. One, because I'm tired of learning people. I know that's a horrible attitude to have, but you can know somebody for 2-3 years and all of a sudden it just flips on a dime, you know, kind of a thing. And I am really tired of being everybody's mom. And that's how every relationship I have ever had has ended up. There has not been one person, except for the gentleman that passed away, in my life that has given two shits about me. Do you know how many birthday celebrations I have had since I left my home, my hometown, my parents' house? 2. I am 48 years old. Do you know how many times, and it's not about the gifts. It's not about the birthday parties. It's just being forgotten. Literally. And again, please don't think it's because everybody thinks you're strong. Jennifer doesn't need anything. Jennifer doesn't. But that one person, just to have one person to say, come here, you need to cry, you need to scream, you need to go beat the shit out of something, I gotcha. I gotcha. I would pay thousands for that person. You have no idea. I'd pay millions if I had it. I don't even have thousands, but, you know, the thought is good. And just talking with her yesterday and sharing, I felt like $1 million last night. Because she knew exactly how I felt. It doesn't matter if it's platonic, if it's romantic, I don't know how else to put it, a love relationship. When it's one-sided, it's really hard on the other person. Especially when that person is going through some things. That is why since, 22, I think? I have given up on friend relationships. Because I have given my all, and all I get back in return are comments that it's not all about me. No, because it's been all about you for the last 20 years, and now that I needed somebody just to listen to me for 5 minutes, you're not interested. Bye-bye. And that was the hardest thing I have ever had to do. Just recently, I want to say at the end, November is a really bad month for me, apparently. Excuse me. At the end of this last November 2024, I was exhausted, and I think I did a video on it. My feelers were hurt, and I called a local friend, and I said, what are you doing? And she said nothing. I said, can I just borrow you for like an hour or so? And I was so thankful for her because she listened to me and watched me cry and Non-judgmental, I needed it so bad. I'm starting to get emotional thinking about it. 2024 was such a hard year on me. So many one-sided relationships. Feeling like I was alone 24/7. How do I deal with this? How do I fix that? And nobody to ask. Because some of the people that I was helping were the ones I usually asked. You know? That is why I hate the word strong. Because strong usually means you're alone. There were several battles, several mountains that had to be climbed, several things that had to be done on your own to acquire that strength. I don't really feel like it's a badge of honor. It's not something I want to, yeah, I can handle it. No, that's not something, I don't know. I don't know how to put it in words. And you can be upset about my anxiety comments, but it's true. Because when you're in a position like this, you don't have time for anxiety. You don't. You're on to the next. Get up and go. There's some other fire that needs to be put out. And I have upset people that, you know, longtime friends that want to talk on the phone or whatnot, and due to my work schedule or I just don't have time, or I forget. And it's not that I don't want to talk to them. One, it's I don't want to take on any more burdens because I feel bad. Guilt is my Achilles heel. If I feel sorry for someone, I will do what I can to help that person. But as of late, I've had to pick my battles. I can't sit and cry over things because there's doctor's appointments, there's tax returns, there's bookkeeping, payroll, family members, doctor's appointments. There's sick family members. There's, yeah, the list goes on and on. There is no time. There's no crying in baseball. I don't know, guys. I don't want you to feel sorry for me over this video. I have friends I can talk to. And in fact, the lady I spoke to yesterday, we were like, we need to get together and talk a little bit more often and share what's going on with us, because just that little break, it improved my mood, and I think it improved hers too. We were laughing pretty hard. And not waste it on the selfish ones. I know that sounds horrible, but I am so tired of saying, oh, today was rough. Today was really, really rough. And then poof, they're gone. Or somehow they manipulate the situation back into talking about them. I have lots of friends like that. And it's not that I'm a complainer either. I don't want to sit down and complain. In fact, I want to talk about happy things. I want to make plans to go do things. I want to, you know, talk about, hey, let's go on a vacation. Let's do this. Let's do that. And, but there are days when you're just, help me fix this. How do I do this? How do I do that? And when there's nobody there, it can be an endless pit. I think that's why I have a hard time shutting my brain off sometimes. And the insomnia problem, sometimes, like I've said, and the reason why I started this channel is to tell others, when you talk about it and get it off your chest, it doesn't seem like such a problem after that. But when you don't have anybody to listen to you, and listening takes no efforts. I don't need any help. I'm not looking, can you come clean my house? Can you come let my dog out? I am not. I have never. I asked one person once, and the guilt from asking was unbearable, so I've never asked again for help. The same lady that helped me in November, though, her husband has helped me work on my car several times. They're both pretty good people. So I'm not completely alone. But when it comes to things around the house, for instance, last year when we got 6 feet of snow, I put the ladder up on the roof. I climbed up on the roof and I shoveled it myself. If I fell, nobody was going to save me. If something goes wrong with my car and it's something I know how to fix, like a distributor cap, headlights, fan belt, anything like that, I do it myself. I get greasy. Spark plugs, wires, all that fun jazz I've done myself. I've even put in a new windshield wiper motor, a new starter. I've done a lot of... That's why I like the older vehicles, because you can still work on them yourself. But nobody gets that either. And the money video I did yesterday, apparently nobody wants to talk about it. So, but I was talking about why I drive an older model car. But the whole point of this being alone, this video, I guess, is to maybe point out to you and maybe have you recognize in others around you what they might be struggling with without anybody to voice that to. And take an hour of your time and just listen. It won't kill you. You don't have to beat them with your own story. You can tell them your own story if it's going to help their situation. But if you're doing it as a pissing match, just keep your mouth shut. It doesn't help anybody. In fact, it makes the situation worse. And I don't know. Stop telling people, wow, you're so strong. Maybe stop and think about what it took for that person to get there. And I know I've said this 1,000 times, but quit thinking about only yourself. There are billions of people out there. Billions. You're not the top cupcake, I promise. I'm not very nice, am I? I don't mean it rudely. I just mean some people have an ego that just won't stop. It's always about them. Always about them. They've got the worst disease. They've got the worst problems. And I can be honest with you, some of their problems I laugh at. I'm like, that's a problem? Because I just got off my ass and mowed my own lawn yesterday. I did it in 2 hours because I had to hurry and get back to the office. Yeah. I don't say those things out loud, but I think them. Because what's my problem is definitely not somebody else's problem. That's the other side of it. And their problem might just be, a fly on an apple to me. And I do think a lot of it is a matter of choice. I think we have made it, like the accountability video I did, I do believe we have turned this society into a bunch of lazy whiners. I'm sorry. But I can guarantee you there are some of my friends that if they had to walk a day in my shoes, they'd have tapped out a long time ago. If John was married to any of them, he'd be fending for himself right now. It takes a... I feel like I'm patting myself on the back, and that's not what I want to do. But I would also like to know, and from the other people that are doing the caretaking and the working and the keeping up with the house and everything else, how does it make you feel when you don't have that walk away button, that lay down and curl up in a fetal position and just cry? Her and I yesterday talked about, I said there's some days you just want to get in the shower and just bawl your head off. But even the shower anymore is a rush job for me. It used to be kind of my quiet time, and not anymore. You hear a noise and I'm screaming, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Yep. Okay, this video is probably long enough, and I've probably lost your attention by rattling on and patting myself on the back, which isn't my intention, I absolutely promise, because I don't want anybody to feel like this. In fact, I was talking to my niece, same conversation the other day, and I told her I was sorry. I was sorry that she acquired this. It's not fun. Not fun at all being everybody's mom and taking care of everything. And that's the other reason why I want 2025 to be about you. Because there is at some point where we have to reel ourselves back in, take that time off, and even if it's not having somebody listen to us, just taking 4 days without somebody asking for something. That would be great. That would be great. Okay, guys. I love you all. Please say a prayer for everybody in the LA area. Everybody in the North Carolina, Georgia, they're still dealing after the hurricane. Everybody in the South who can't handle the skiffs of snow. And everybody in Alaska whose snow has melted. I know, it's just a weird year. It's the middle of January and I'm climately challenged. It should be 30 below zero and it's 35 above. The other day it was 40. I'm wearing a t-shirt in the middle of January. Yeah. Not normal. Last year in January, I was shoveling 6 feet of snow out of my driveway. Yep. I don't know, guys. A different world. But I love y'all. And I'll see you on Thursday. Okay, guys. Bye.